It was concerning to start seeing the flooding and knowing, the neighborhoods around. I've been with the company 2 years, and I've felt very good about the company the whole 2 years, but the experience that I had during this tragic experience amazed me. They were so mindful of us and giving us that time ahead of time to know that we didn't have to get out, we didn't have to leave our families to get out in the storm. So that was really appreciative. And it was the emails we got, it wasn't about when are we going to be able to open. It was about how are you, how are your employees, how's your family, how's your neighborhood. It was very genuine.
I just remember calling the police that night, 911, and you couldn't get through. So we still had electricity and the water had not yet come in, but it started to creep in a little bit in our living room. So I remember calling the police department directly and them saying, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, you're put on a list. There's nothing we can do for you. We cannot help you. We need you to go ahead and go ahead and get in the attic." So once they told me that, my heart kind of dropped, and I was like, "Oh God, we're in a lot." Like just all those red flags were just coming up, and I laid down next to her and I just started praying. I'm sorry.
It's okay, sweetie.
Because I was just afraid that it was going to get higher and we weren't going to be able to get out. And so once the water started kind of coming over the mattress, that's kind of when I started screaming, "Somebody help us." And my neighbor next door that had a two-story, he came over and he actually told us that we could bring our dog, thank God, and that we could come up to their second story. So we ended up leaving and going up there for the remainder part of it. But the next day, HR called me from Tennessee. They were real sweet to me and reached out to me, which I thought was amazing. And then I believe Dave called me and said, "Hey, we got your back." I'll never forget that as long as I live. When I went Friday to meet all the CEO and everyone, they were very welcoming, very caring. And then when that Friday, actually Dave, Kristen, Laura Adams, and Earl, they all came out and helped us remove our debris. So all the flooring, all the walls, everything. So it just really touched my heart. It's something that as long as I live, I'll never ever forget.
Me and my brother-in-law, we were sitting on the breakfast table, having breakfast, watching TV, and we're just thinking, we're like, "Hey, what can we do?" And I said, "You know what, let me call Syed." Syed owns one of the local hospitals in Houston, United Medical Memorial Center, UMMC, and I said, "Let me see if they need any help." He said, "My nurses have already gone over 16 hours, and he needs some new nurses, but the problem is those nurses are living in different parts of town in Houston, and they cannot drive because of the water." And that was a time when we're like, "Okay, let's pull out that truck," which my brother-in-law has, and we're like, let's get those high boots on and see what we can do.
Inside the hospital, we were pretty much prepared. We had all of the supplies and things that we need in general to sustain us for a couple of days, but we had no idea of the impact of people being able to move about throughout the city to make sure that they got here. We started getting calls in from our staff saying that we'd love to be there, we really want to help deliver that care to our patients like we do on a normal basis. We cannot get there. And we called our leadership team and Mr. Syed, and he said, "You know what, we have somebody that can help us out." We have Regents Bank that wanted to partner with us, and they have a truck and they can get out to the nurses and pick them up and get them to the facility. We kept thinking to ourselves, "Oh my, that is wonderful."
It really starts with doing what's right and taking care of our associates and our communities. So in a kind of a step-by-step, very methodical approach, we make sure that our associates are taken care of, that we're aware of what their situations are. Then we move to our communities. And the best way of us to be able to make sure that we're supporting our communities is to have our associates stabilized and ready to come back in and able to concentrate on our clients. So it's truly at a core of what our company is about.